say that they love their friends and whether it is genuine. Can we suffer from losing a friend as much as we suffer from losing a lover? Stay with me while I explore this and much more about friendship love and how it relates to our main aim, namely, does unconditional love make any sense? But before we start, let me ask you a question. Do you love your friends and why? Please let me know in the comment section below. Friendship love or philia hasn't been neglected by philosophers either. Some have really harsh things to say about it. For example, Proust's narrator in The Search for Lost Time calls it an abdication of self, devoid of nature, whereas Aristotle idealizes it and relates it to virtue. Uh, Montaigne, in agreement to Aristotle's view, says that in friendship it is a general and universal fire, but temperate and equal, a constant established heat, all gentle and smooth, without poignancy or roughness. Because we are ultimately social beings, I tend to agree with Aristotle and Montaigne. Most of us need to feel connected, and moreover, it is how humankind survived and flourished against all that nature threw at us throughout time. So, how is philia any different from eros? Well, the first and most striking difference is that it does not imply a sexual dimension. However, it is not necessary that it doesn't include sex. What Aristotle tells us is that since sex is motivated by a rudimentary type of pleasure, it is not very important towards flourishing. As you can already see, for Aristotle, friendship, at least in its ideal form, is conducive to virtue and a life lived well. He distinguishes between three types of friendships. The first one is friendship out of pleasure, the second one is friendship out of utility, and the third one is friendship out of virtue. Friendship out of pleasure is somewhat similar to romantic love. It lasts until one of the friends can offer a certain pleasure. One that fits well with this description is a drinking buddy. The friendship out of utility doesn't go much further. It lasts until one of the friends is no longer useful. It is very instrumental. For example, befriending someone because he can help us get something that we want. Whereas the friendship out of virtue is the ideal. I believe it is a happy combination of the first two types, and Aristotle tells us that this type of friendship is ethical. It involves both partners pursuing similar virtues, the best way to live life, and the right ends to it. Another difference between eros and philia is that we do not seek to subjugate our partner to overpower him. It does not involve possessiveness. Reciprocity in friendship doesn't involve possessing or merging with the other, at least not in a manner that obliterates the independent agency of the loved one. However, this kind of friendship is not perfect either, and Aristotle has been accused of instrumentality. Friendship out of virtue lasts until one of the partners keeps up being virtuous and evolving. If he stalls, Aristotle advises that the relationship be ceased. Philia is inescapably conditional on the excellences of character that we perceive in the other person. So we can notice that friendship love, as romantic love, is anchored in a very primal desire. It is more likely to defeat predators and rivals if you have friends, if you are part of a gang. However, I would say that this type of love is a step further in our evolution, and although it is attached to the same mechanism that makes an individual survive, it extends over to other persons. Also, the way in which we choose friends, even in its most idealized form, is based on similarities and common traits most of the times, which I believe alludes to similarities in genes. So, regardless of the objections that can be ascribed to Aristotle's view of friendship, I believe it is quite relatable to the scientific explanation of human bonding. all the complex emotions and views that we encounter nowadays are evolved from these primal mechanisms that helped us throughout centuries. I think it is important to know our origins and see how we can develop or correct accordingly, and not towards some unrealistic goals and expectations. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more and like the video. Until the next time, don't forget to observe, think and improve.